Hey guys, and welcome back to what I'm sure has been eagerly anticipated. This is my EFL Championship 2021-22 prediction table. And the format we're going to do this, it doesn't matter what time it kicks off or what day. The fixtures for the weekend, we're going to go through all 12 fixtures for each match week, whether that be a weekend or weekday, and we're going to predict them and have a look at the table after each fixture. See how it'll turn out. And we start on the Friday night in Bournemouth as Bournemouth take on West Brom. And I think that will be a 1-1 draw. I think Blackburn are going to start with a 2-0 defeat to Swansea, a 2-1 victory for Bristol City, 1-1 Cardiff Barnsley, 1-0 Derby against Huddersfield, 1-1 Luton Peterborough, 2-1 to Hull at Preston, 1-1 QPR and Millwall, and 1-1 Stoke and Reading, followed by a 2-1 Sheffield United win against Birmingham, my team Sheffield United, 2-2 Fulham and Middlesbrough, and 2-0 to Nottingham Forest, not a 9-2 to Coventry. So after the first fixture, Coventry, Blackburn and Huddersfield will be the bottom three teams, with Swansea, Nottingham Forest and Hull City taking the top three. Into the second fixture. Peterborough with the early kickoff against Derby County, I think will be 1-0 Peterborough. 2-1 to Birmingham against Stoke. No 1-1. 1-0. 3-1. 1-0. 1-1. 2-1 Fulham. 2-0 Hull. 1-1. 3-0 West Brom, and a 1-1 Swansea City against Sheffield United at 8 PM. So after two fixtures, we have Coventry still bottom, Blackburn Huddersfield still joining them in the bottom three, and we have Hull City to take the lead as the only team to win the opening two fixtures alongside West Brom, Middlesbrough, Swansea City, Nottingham Forest and Fulham in the top six. Into the third fixture. This is the first Tuesday night fixture, and it will be 2-1 Coventry and a 1-1, 2-0 Fulham, 1-1, 2-1 Cardiff, 1-0 Swansea, 1-1 Birmingham, 2-0 Middlesbrough, 1-0 Hull, 1-0 Nottingham Forest, 1-1, and a 2-1 West Brom against Sheffield United. So, 3 games in, Blackburn dropped to bottom of the league, QPR and Huddersfield also struggling. Coventry picking up their first win of the season to lift themselves off of the bottom with a 2-1 victory away to Blackpool, newly promoted side. Hull City to be defying expectations and to be top of the league alongside Middlesbrough in second, with West Brom, Fulham, Swansea and Nottingham Forest closely following in the playoffs, separated by goal difference. Into the next fixture. 2-1 Bristol City, 1-0 QPR, a 1-1, a 1-2, 3-0, a 1-1, a 1-2, a 3-1, a 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, and a 0-0 between Stoke and Nottingham Forest. Meaning at this point, Middlesbrough and Fulham take top two, joint on goal difference on the same goals scored and conceded, both on 10 points, with West Brom closely behind, separated only on the basis that they have scored less goals at this point in the season. With Hull City, Cardiff and Nottingham Forest all in the top 6. Sheffield United just relegated, currently in 8th place after 4 fixtures. Bournemouth probably punching below expectations at this point. Derby County not doing too great. Blackburn still bottom of the league, yet to win a game. Into the final fixture of August. Going to go 1-1 Peterborough West Brom. 1-0 Derby against Nottingham Forest. 2-1 Cardiff. 1-1. 1-0. 1-1. 1-0. 0-2. 1-2. 1-2. 2-2 and 2-0 QPR against Coventry. So QPR, I think, have got back-to-back victories at this point. Beating Barnsley and then beating Coventry to lift themselves from the bottom 3 into 13th. Blackburn remaining bottom with Huddersfield both on a point apiece. Luton dropping into the relegation zone after a 2-1 defeat at home to Sheffield United. The top 6 are Fulham top of the league, 2 points ahead of Middlesbrough, West Brom and Cardiff. Sheffield United and Hull also in playoff places as we head into September. 3-0 Bournemouth, 0-0, 1-1, 1-0, 1-2, 1-2, 1-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, 2-0, and 2-1 West Brom. So we are 6 games in. Middlesbrough are top, joined by West Brom, neither of which team have lost a game at this point. Bournemouth also haven't lost, neither have Reading, who are sitting lowest out of the 4 teams who haven't lost yet, picking up just 1 victory and 5 draws in the opening 6 fixtures. Blackburn, Huddersfield, Luton and Stoke all yet to win a game, and Hull City yet to draw a game, as Middlesbrough, West Brom top 2, Fulham, Sheffield United, Swansea and Cardiff all in the top 6, Luton, Huddersfield and Blackburn bottom 3. Into game 7. 1-2, 0-1, 3-1, 1-0, 1-1, 2-0, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, and 2-3. Sheffield United join West Brom in the top 2 spots. Middlesbrough, Fulham, Swansea and Nottingham Forest are the following 4 teams in the playoffs, with newly promoted side Blackpool in 16th, Peterborough in 20th and Hull in 7th, so none of the 3 promoted teams currently in the relegation zone. As Stoke City, Luton, Blackburn, Huddersfield still all yet to win a game, as the bottom 4 doesn't change. As we head into week 8, 2-1 Cardiff, 1-0 Derby, 1-1, 2-0 Fulham, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 3-0, 2-1 and 1-0. As QPR now rise up to 7th place after a little bit of a shoddy start to the season, now challenging for the playoffs, Middlesbrough and West Brom are top 2. Fulham, Swansea, Sheffield United, Cardiff City are the following 4 teams in playoffs, with Stoke City dropping into the relegation zone now beneath Huddersfield, who will lift themselves out, but Blackburn and Luton remain in bottom 2 teams. Into game week 9, we have 1-0 Bournemouth, 1-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 3-0, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 and 2-0. As West Bromwich Albion go top of the league, followed by Swansea City and Sheffield United, all separated by goal difference, with Middlesbrough, Fulham and Cardiff City still in the playoff places. Bottom 3 doesn't change, as Stoke City remain 22nd, followed by Blackburn and bottom of the league Luton. As we head into game week 10, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-2, 2-0, 0-0, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1 and 1-0. As Swansea City top of the league, Sheffield United second, both teams drawing in their respective fixtures. Sheffield United drawing away to Middlesbrough and Swansea drawing away to Fulham. West Brom, Middlesbrough, Cardiff, Fulham all remain in the top 6, while Hull City sit just outside of the top 6 by a point. Luton off the bottom into 22nd, but Stoke and Blackburn still struggling without a win between them after 10 fixtures. Next game, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 0-1, 2-3, 2-1, 1-0, 0-0, 3-0, 1-2, 1-0 and 1-1. As West Brom top of the league on 21 points, Fulham, Middlesbrough, Swansea and Sheffield United also on 21 points, Cardiff City on 20. Then Hull City, Forest, QPR and Bournemouth just outside of the playoff places, with Huddersfield, Blackburn and Stoke into the bottom 3 as Luton pick up a second successive victory at home to Huddersfield. Into game week 12. 1-1, 1-0, 4-1, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, and 1-1. As Fulham go top, joined by Middlesbrough, Swansea and Sheffield United all on 24 points. West Brom drops to 5th on 22. Hull City climb into the playoffs above Cardiff City, who lose at Swansea, into 6th place on 21. Forest climb above Cardiff also into 7th on 20. Cardiff drop to 8th on 20 points. Bottom 3 are Stoke and Blackburn, 5 and 7 points apiece. 8 points for Huddersfield. Blackburn have won their first game as they win 2-1 away at Blackpool, but I think that was a game before. Yeah, it was. We missed that. But Stoke are still yet to win at this point of the season. Into game week 13. 1-1, 1-2, 0-1, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 3-0, 0-0, 1-2, 1-1, 1-0 and 2-1. As Middlesbrough top, Swansea and Sheffield United join them on goal difference. Fulham, Cardiff and West Brom are 4th, 5th and 6th respectively. With Huddersfield bottom of the league, Stoke winning their first game as they beat Bournemouth by a goal to 0 at the Bet365. And Blackburn dropping to bottom of the league on just 7 points. Game number 14. 2-1. 1-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 0-2, 1-2, 3-0, and 1-1. Now you might notice I'm doing these fixtures a little bit quickly and not putting too much thought into them, but I feel like if I put too much thought into them, I'll change what my initial thought process is. Whereas if I just fill them out as I first see them, for example, when I say 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, whatever, they're the first score lines that come to mind. I feel that's the best non-biased way to do this. As if I start putting thought into it, I might think, oh, but this might happen, that might happen, which is all true. But if I just go in my initial prediction, then it's pure and it's unbiased as I can be. Anyway, after 14 fixtures, Middlesbrough and Swansea top of the league, Sheffield United join them as all 3 of these teams at the top of the league all draw. Fulham, Cardiff and Hull City still up there. West Brom drop out to the playoffs. Blackburn are still in relegation despite a second victory this time against Reading. Huddersfield are 23rd and Stoke City are 24th. After Huddersfield and Stoke City both will lose their games respectively as we head into week 15. By the way, let me just point out Middlesbrough at this point haven't lost a game. As we go into the next fixture, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-2, 1-0, 0-0, 3-0, 1-2, and 1-1. As Sheffield United go top of the league, Middlesbrough drop into 2nd place, but still unbeaten in the league. Swansea City, Fulham, Cardiff, West Brom all in the playoffs. Huddersfield, Blackburn, Stoke still bottom 3, as the bottom 3 don't change. They do change places, but they don't change as a collective. As we move into game week 16, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 0-0, 3-1, 1-0, 1-1, and 2-0. As Sheffield United remain top of the league despite losing away to Nottingham Forest, as Middlesbrough drop points with a 1-1 draw away to Luton, but stay in 2nd. Cardiff up to 3rd. West Brom, Swansea and Fulham closely following in 4th, 5th and 6th. Blackburn, Huddersfield, Stoke still bottom 3, as Stoke City now 6 points adrift at this point. Derby dropping back down into a relegation battle. Millwall, Blackpool, Barnsley and Luton not too far above a relegation zone either. With Coventry perhaps punching above the weight at this point. Bournemouth below expectations. You know, Preston, Peterborough definitely above expectations as a whole. As we move into game week 17. 1-1, 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-1 and 3-0. Middlesbrough losing their first game away to West Brom and also getting battered in the respective game. As Cardiff move to the top of the table, West Bromwich Albion is second, Sheffield United down to third, Middlesbrough fourth, Swansea City fifth, Fulham sixth. Bottom three still remain the same. Blackburn, Huddersfield and Stoke adrift at the bottom, as the 21st place Barnsley are now 9 points clear of Stoke City as we move into game week 18. 1-1. Ooh, sugar, I didn't mean to put 11. 1-1. 1-2. 2-0. 2-1. 1-1. 1-0. 1-1. 1-2. 2-0. 2-1. 1-1 and 1-3. As a surprise scoreline, as you're going to get throughout the season, you're going to get a few surprise scorelines here and there, but you don't expect an away team that you don't expect to win in a million years at a stadium will win. A game where one team absolutely hammers the other. Like, for example, last season in the Premier League, we had West Brom win 5-2 at Stamford Bridge. Nobody expected that at the beginning of the day, but stuff happens, you know. As Cardiff City remain top and Sheffield United back into second. Middlesbrough, West Brom, Fulham and Swansea all still up there. Hull City dropping off of the playoff places a little bit as they drop into 10th place. Reading below expectation this season. Huddersfield climb above Blackburn but remain in relegation as Stoke City pick up a point, now 8 points adrift. As we move into the next fixture, perhaps the final game in November, second to last game in November. The penultimate November game, as we have 1-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0 and 1-1, followed by a 2-1, a 2-0, a 0-0, a 0-1, a 2-3 and a 2-1. Cardiff City remain top then after a 0-0 draw at home to Hull City. Middlesbrough remain second, Sheffield United remain third, Fulham, West Brom and Swansea all still in the top six. As Barnsley drop into relegation beneath Blackburn, who pick up a 2-1 victory at home to Peterborough. Barnsley losing 1-0 at home to Swansea, sorry. Stoke City remain bottom and Huddersfield still in the relegation zone. 2-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0. 1-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-3, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1 and 1-2. Cardiff City remain top of the league, Sheffield United into second, Fulham, Middlesbrough, Nottingham Forest and Swansea City top six. West Brom and Bristol City and Bournemouth not too far off either. Birmingham into 10th place. Blackburn drop back into the relegation zone. Huddersfield climb out. Barnsley down to 17th and Stoke City picking up their second victory with a 1-0 victory at home to Blackburn Rovers, move up to 12 points and just 5 points adrift. As we head into week 21. Blackburn versus Preston in their derby match is going to be 1-1, 1-0, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 1-3, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1 and 1-2. As Stoke City picking up a second successive victory to move up to 15 points and now just 3 points adrift of 21st place Blackburn. Back in the fight to survive. As Luton drop into relegation, Barnsley also in relegation. It's very tight down at the bottom. Blackburn, Huddersfield, Millwall just outside of the relegation zone. With Preston, QPR, Derby County, Blackpool, Peterborough, Hull City, Reading, Coventry, Birmingham, Bournemouth all potentially able to drop into that relegation battle with a few successive defeats, as Bournemouth and Birmingham sit just outside of the playoffs alongside Bristol City and West Brom. Middlesbrough just inside with Swansea City, Nottingham Forest on 38, Sheffield United 39 as Fulham move up to second on 41 and Cardiff City now 4 points above third place, safely in the promotion spots in first place on 43. As we move into game week 22, 2-4, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 0-1, 0-0 and 1-2. As West Brom picking up a couple of dodgy results as they're now 5 points adrift of the playoffs. Fulham go to the top of the league after Cardiff City suffer a 2-0 defeat away to Birmingham. Sheffield United still in third, Nottingham Forest, Middlesbrough and Swansea City the following pike in the top 6. Barnsley and Luton still in relegation. Stoke City now 5 points adrift after a 1-0 defeat at home to Middlesbrough. Blackburn's 4-2 victory at Bournemouth would have been unexpected at this point, but it lifts them away from a relegation zone as we move into game week 23 to be midway through the season. 1-1, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 1-2, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 1-2 and 1-2. As Fulham remain top of the league now 5 points above third place Middlesbrough. Cardiff City in second, Middlesbrough, Sheffield United, Swansea City, Nottingham Forest, top 6 going into the midway point of the season. West Bromwich Albion, Bristol City, Birmingham City, Reading, Hull, Coventry, Derby, Peterborough, Bournemouth, Blackpool, all within touching distance of the playoffs, followed by QPR, Preston, Blackburn, Huddersfield, Millwall, all dropping into that lower region of the table in a potential relegation battle. Barnsley in 22nd, Luton in 23rd, and Stoke City 6 points adrift now in 24th position. We move into the 24th game on Boxing Day as Cardiff draw 1-1 at home to Coventry City. 2-1 West Brom, 1-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-2. As Fulham are 5 points ahead of second place Cardiff on 50 points. Swansea City in third, Middlesbrough in fourth. Sheffield United having a few dodgy results, dropping into fifth place with a potential scare of dropping out of the playoff spots. Nottingham Forest in sixth, then West Brom, Bristol City, Hull City, all the same. Stoke City remain bottom, but we do pick up a point. This time that comes away to Barnsley. Luton are on 18, Barnsley on 20, only a point off of Millwall. Blackburn just ahead of Millwall, and Huddersfield and QPR just ahead of them. It's shaping up to be an interesting season. Into game 25. 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 2-2, 2-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 1-0 and 3-1. The scorelines as Fulham remain top, 7 points ahead of second place Middlesbrough. As Swansea City in third, Cardiff in fourth, Sheffield United fifth, Nottingham Forest sixth. The bottom three I think remains the same, yes, with Barnsley in 21st, Luton in 22nd, Stoke City picking up a 1-0 victory at home to Derby County, lifts them up to 19 points in 24th place, but we sit just 2 points off of safety with better goal difference than Millwall. But at this point are the lowest scorers in the league on just 17 goals. The highest scorers are Fulham on 41, also conceding the joint least. Oh no, they're not. Sorry, the least goals conceded at this point will be Nottingham Forest on 15 goals conceded, with the most conceded to be 35 by Millwall. As we head into the new year with a Bournemouth Peterborough game finishing 1-0, a 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-2, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1 and 1-1 at the end of the game. As Fulham stay top of the league, Sheffield United into second, Middlesbrough, Swansea, Cardiff and West Brom the following pack in the top 4. As Stoke City off the bottom of the league, Millwall drop into relegation zone, Luton to hit bottom of the league as Barnsley climb out after their victory away to Nottingham Forest by 2-1, as Forest drop out of the playoffs. In this new year we get into game 27, Cardiff 1, Blackburn 0, a 0-0, a 1-2, a 2-0, a 2-1, a 1-1, a 1-0, a 1-0, a 1-1, a 1-2, 1-0 and 1-4. As West Bromwich Albion climb up to 5th place with their 4-1 victory away to QPR at the King Prince Foundation Stadium. Fulham remain top, 8 points ahead of Middlesbrough, creating quite a bit of a gap at this point. Cardiff City in 3rd, Sheffield United 4th, joint for 2nd place, only goal difference or goals scored separates those teams, with West Brom and Swansea following closely. Nottingham Forest just outside of the playoffs, Coventry climbing up to 8th place, Bournemouth in 9th and Bristol City in 10th, Hull City dropping off again. Doesn't look like they'll make playoffs this season, but they're still punching way above the weight this far into the season. As Luton perhaps a little bit beneath expectation at this point. I feel like Luton are one of them teams who could definitely surprise in the Championship, and a well-established Championship side at this point as a mid-table, moving up to a higher table sort of team. Barnsley not repeating anything that happened under Valerian Ismail last season, who's obviously now at West Brom, but sitting in 21st. Millwall beneath expectations, as are Stoke and Blackburn. To be fair, most teams in that bottom region would be beneath expectation at this point. Derby might be punching a little bit above, considering their current issues with whatever's going on at their club, you know. Bristol City better than last season. Bournemouth beneath expectations. West Brom, Sheffield United, Fulham just relegated from the Premier League. All three of them would be expecting to be up in and around the top 6 at this point in the season, and hopefully come the end of the season as well. Middlesbrough doing much better than they have done in recent years, as are Cardiff. And Swansea City have been around the top 6 since they got relegated, but let's see how it pans out. Forest also doing much better than last season. Into game 28, as they get 1-0, 1-1, 1-2. 2-0, 2-1, 1-1, 1-2, 0-1, 2-0, 0-0, 1-0, and 1-2. So that would be 2 victories against Nottingham Forest of Derby this season, both finishing 1-0, I believe. Let's just take a look back on that other one. That was game 5, I believe. Yeah, that was also 1-0. So game 28, as 28 fixtures in, we have Fulham remaining top despite a 1-1 draw, a 0-0 draw, away to Stoke City. Still 6 points ahead of Middlesbrough and Sheffield United. Swansea, Cardiff, West Brom still top 6. Forest, Bournemouth, Coventry and Bristol City all in the running to potentially get up there. Blackpool now up to 11th place. Birmingham and Hull City still in and around the mid-table. Stoke City still in relegation alongside Millwall and Luton, who are starting to drop off at this point. As we get into game week 29, final game of January, yeah. We start with a 4-2 victory to Cardiff. 1-2, 1-2, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 2-0 and 2-2. Fulham on 61 points, the first to hit above 60 points, scoring 45 goals this season alongside West Brom also scoring 45. Not a very high scoring league so far this season, I guess. A lot of games have struggled to get 4+ goals. You know, I think we've only had it in like 3 or 4 fixtures at this point. We've had a couple of 4-2s, a 4-1 here and there. Sheffield United on 55, now 2 points ahead of third place Middlesbrough, who are on 53. Cardiff 52, West Brom 49 and Swansea City 49. Stoke City, Millwall, Luton remain bottom 3. Barnsley, Blackburn just outside with a bit of a gap between 19th and 20th, 6 points to be exact, as a mid-table is starting to take a little bit of form here. We're into February. 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 1-2, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 1-2, 3-0, 2-1, 1-0 and 1-1. Fulham top of the league by 9 points over Sheffield United, who lose away to Birmingham City, but Middlesbrough, who lose at home to Fulham, not overtaking Sheffield United, as Cardiff also lose away to Barnsley. Swansea City beating Blackburn and West Brom dropping points against Bournemouth. Not very good in terms of results for the top 6 of this 30th game week fixture. Luton remaining bottom, Stoke remaining 23rd and Millwall remaining 22nd. Millwall up to 22nd after a 1-0 win against QPR as we head into week 31. 1-0, 1-1, 2-3, 2-0, 2-1, 1-1. So the second lot of fixtures on this date: 2-1, 1-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1 and 2-1. As Sheffield United remain in second place, 3 points above Cardiff, but 9 points behind leaders Fulham, who are creating a big gap at this point. 12 points ahead of Cardiff, 17 points ahead of Bournemouth, as they sit comfortably as a top 6 team and will be looking to finish fair come the end of the season. The bottom 3 don't change, as West Brom, the top 6 don't change really, a couple of position changes, but the top 6 remains the same. Now, a little bit of a gap being created between 6th and 10th, starting to pick up a few more point gaps between those teams as we head into week 32. 2-1, 1-0, 0-0, 0-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-2, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 3-0 and 1-0. As Fulham remain top, Sheffield United still in second, Cardiff into third, then Swansea City, Middlesbrough and West Brom. Millwall, Stoke and Luton still remain bottom, moving to week 33. Oh, by the way, Fulham also losing that fixture away to Hull. None of the top 2 winning at this point, to be fair. None of the top 3, maybe. Yeah, none of the top 3 won, I think. No, none of the top 2 won, sorry. So, 1-0, yeah. 0-0, 0-2, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 3-1, 1-1 and 1-2. Is that week 33? It is week 33. As we have Fulham on 70 points, 10 points above second place Sheffield United. Still 12 points ahead of Cardiff, who are on 58 points. And Swansea City, Middlesbrough and West Brom still claiming them top 6 spots. Millwall and Luton, who are now up to 23rd, and Stoke still in relegation. Barnsley and Blackburn just above it, but now 9 points behind 19th place. Huddersfield is its bottom 5, fighting for survival at this point. 34th game of the season. 2-0, 0-0, 0-1, 2-1, 3-1 and 1-0. And 1-1, 1-2, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 and 4-2 to Stoke City against Luton. The Stoke City climbed to 22nd. Luton remaining bottom of the league, and Millwall are in 23rd. Barnsley picking up a victory away to Hull City, lifts them 4 points above the relegation zone as Blackburn lose at Sheffield United to still be just above the drop, as there's still 9 points, as Huddersfield also win against Cardiff, QPR win against Blackpool, and Derby County picking up a point against Millwall keeps them away from the relegation battle. West Brom, Cardiff, Middlesbrough, Swansea in the playoffs. Sheffield United still in second, and Fulham losing again, which is the second time in 3 games, I believe, that we've had Fulham to lose, as they lose 2-1 at home to Peterborough for the 6th defeat of the season. And they remain top of the league on 70 points. 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 0-0, 0-2, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1 and 3-0. As Fulham remain top, 8 points ahead of Sheffield United and 10 points ahead of third place Middlesbrough. Swansea City, Cardiff still, and the West Brom, still securing those top 6 spots with a 4-point gap between 6th and 7th, or 6th and 8th, I guess. As Blackburn are still a point above relegation alongside Barnsley. Millwall picking up a 2-0 victory at home to Sheffield United in 22nd place. Stoke City in 23rd, and Luton still bottom despite winning 2-1 at home to Derby County. 4 points adrift to safety. Into game week 36, this is where it starts to get interesting now. 1-1, 1-0, 3-0, 0-1, 1-1, 1-2, 2-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1 and 1-0. At this point, you're going to start seeing some of these lower end of the table teams start to pick up results, and some of these higher end teams starting to struggle a little bit in a few games, like you naturally would see in a lot of seasons. You know, a few teams up there start to feel the pressure get to them a little bit and start to struggle, drop their heads, and the teams at the bottom at this point have nothing to lose, so they go all out for it and they get a few results here and there, and some of them just keep losing. It always happens. Barnsley dropping to relegation, Luton and Stoke still down there. Luton winning again, this time away to Middlesbrough. Is that 2 straight victories? It is, as they move up to 23rd and only a point off of relegation. Millwall and Blackburn still just outside, but still 9 points behind Huddersfield. Nottingham Forest, Preston, Birmingham and Bournemouth all on 54, all 5 points off of the playoffs. as a little bit of a gap is starting to form between these teams. 2-1, 1-0, 0-0, 1-3, 2-1, 1-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, and 3-0. For the first time all season, I believe, Luton at this point have picked up 3 successive victories as they climb out of a relegation zone. Blackburn and Barnsley dropping in as Millwall with a 2-0 victory onto Middlesbrough, also climbing out of a relegation zone. Stoke City, bottom of the league on 24th, on 31 points. For only 3 points adrift to safety. Huddersfield losing again, still outside of a relegation zone, but could potentially drop into a relegation battle if results don't start picking up for them, as they sit 6 points above Millwall and only 8 points above a relegation zone. Fulham are near enough secured at this point, 11 points clear with around 27 to play for. I know it's a lot of points left to pick up, but with the current form they should be able to hold it out. Sheffield United, Swansea battling for second place, West Brom, Cardiff, Middlesbrough still firmly in the playoffs into week 38. 2-0, 0-0, 1-2, 1-0, 2-1 and 1-0. 1-3, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 0-0 and 0-2. As Fulham still 7 points clear at the top, even despite a 1-0 defeat away to West Brom. And Sheffield United second on 70, and Swansea, West Brom, Cardiff, Middlesbrough still in the playoffs. Middlesbrough starting to pick up a few dodgy results here and there, as they haven't won in their previous three games, as they picked up 2 defeats and a draw in that time. And they are into 6th place, but only 2 points above Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, who are in the chasing pack. Birmingham, Preston, Coventry, Blackpool, Bristol City, all with an outside chance of getting playoffs still. Anyone else I'd say might be pushing a little bit. Huddersfield losing yet another game as they drop into this unwanted relegation battle, now only 6 points above the drop with 24 left to play for. Stoke City 4 points adrift to safety. Blackburn and Barnsley still in the relegation zone. As we move into week 39, have 0-3, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-1 and 1-0. 7 points clear at the top still is Fulham, Sheffield United in second, Swansea in third, West Brom, Cardiff, Middlesbrough 4th, 5th and 6th as Middlesbrough picking up a victory. Now 5 points above Nottingham Forest, who lose away to Fulham. Picking up a vital victory at home to Cardiff City to go joint on points with them. Bournemouth also dropping points with a 1-0 defeat away to Huddersfield, who finally pick up that much needed win. As Barnsley, Blackburn and Stoke City still in the bottom 3. Luton now a point above the relegation zone, with Millwall 4 points above, now creating a little bit of a gap for themselves into game week 40. And this is where it really starts to like dive down and get into the nitty gritty sort of like end to the season, where some teams are really fighting for their life and other teams are just fighting to stay where they are. As game 40 sees a 1-1, a 1-0, a 1-2, a 2-0, a 2-1, a 1-0, a 1-1, a 1-0, a 3-1, a 1-2, 1-1 and 1-0 to Stoke. As Swansea City losing away to Cardiff in the derby means that they can't go above Sheffield United, who lose away to Stoke City. Fulham also dropping points in a 1-1 draw away to QPR in that London derby. West Brom also losing their game, meaning that Cardiff and Middlesbrough are the only 2 teams in the top 6 to actually win this weekend. On this weekend. Barnsley, Stoke and Blackburn are now all really in dire need of wins. Blackburn 6 points adrift of a drop out of safety. As Millwall and Luton are now 3 points respectively each above the relegation zone. Huddersfield could still potentially drop into this relegation battle. One more win might just about secure survival in the Championship at this point. It's a maybe. As Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth and Birmingham are still with an outside chance of playoffs, but Middlesbrough and Cardiff sitting firmly in 5th and 6th. 5 points clear of 7th. So we move into game 41 with a 1-0, a 1-1, a 1-0, a 1-2, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, 2-0 and 5-1 to West Brom. The first game, I believe, to get 5 goals for a singular team. As Stoke City dropped to the bottom of the league on 35, Barnsley and Blackburn both on 36, Luton on 39, Millwall 6 points clear, and Huddersfield now 11 points clear. It looks really unlikely that they'll be in this relegation battle now. 15 points remaining to play for, as Fulham are 11 points clear of third. One more victory might get them promoted at this point. Swansea sits into second place as Sheffield United drop into third. West Brom, Cardiff and Middlesbrough still in the top 6. We move into the next fixture, fixture 42. The 1-1, 1-0, 0-1, 1-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 1-1, 3-1 and 1-0. As Nottingham Forest dropping points away to Luton means that they're no closer to the top 6 than they were before. They're actually now a point further away after Middlesbrough picking up just a point at Bournemouth, so dropping points, as do Cardiff, dropping points away to Hull in a 2-0 defeat. This was Nottingham Forest's chance to definitely get back among them top 6 places, but they didn't take it. Blackburn, Stoke and Barnsley all on 36 points, and all 6 points adrift of safety. Really, really in dire need of wins now, as they all look to be getting relegated at this point. As we move into game 43, the very business end of the season, as it gets very interesting now. 1-0. Big game at the bottom, by the way. Blackburn, Stoke, 1-0 Blackburn. 2 of the bottom 3 teams facing each other. 1-2, 2-2, 2-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 0-0, 1-2 and 3-0. As Fulham do get promoted here and win the league in the same fixture with a 1-0 victory at home to Preston. Swansea City on 79 in second, drawing 0-0 away to Reading. Sheffield United drawing 2-2 away to West Brom remain in third, as West Brom's 2-1 victory away to Nottingham Forest means that they move up to 4th place and are now in a fight for the top 2 spots alongside Swansea and Sheffield United. Cardiff 72, Middlesbrough 70, Birmingham now the outside dark horses to get into the top 6 as Nottingham Forest drop to 4 points adrift of playoffs. Bournemouth still with an outside chance, but looks very unlikely as they sit 7 points adrift with 9 points to play for. Blackburn's massive victory at home to Stoke means that Stoke are at this point more or less relegated. One more defeat could definitely guarantee that for them. Barnsley and Blackburn are just outside of safety as we move into game 44. 1-1, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 0-0, 0-1, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1 and 3-0. As Sheffield United go back second after Swansea City draw 1-1 at home to Middlesbrough. West Bromwich Albion into 3rd place on 80. Swansea City on 80. Cardiff on 72, meaning they now can't get top 2. Middlesbrough on 71. Birmingham up to 70 points, just a point outside of the playoffs now. 4 points adrift still for Nottingham Forest, who draw 0-0 away to Peterborough. Barnsley are bottom of the league and just about relegated despite a no, they didn't win, sorry, they lost away to Huddersfield, who won. Stoke City, also on 39, sorry, despite a 1-0 victory at home to QPR. 6 points adrift to Luton. Luton have better goal difference than both of them, so it looks very likely that they'll both be going down. Blackburn Rovers on to 42 points and still with an outside chance of survival. Moving to game 45. Make or break for some teams. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 1-2, 0-2, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 0-2, 1-2, and 2-2. Sheffield United drop into 4th as West Brom into 2nd place and Swansea City into 3rd place. Sheffield United drop down to 4th on 82. Fulham at this point 11 points clear on 94. They can't get a century of points. The highest they can finish on is 97. West Brom has scored the most goals at this point. The least conceded is by Fulham on 32. Most conceded going into the final game is 56, 57 for Luton, and the least scored is 34 for Stoke, who were relegated on 40 points after their 1-1 draw away to Middlesbrough. Barnsley still mathematically can stay up, but it looks very unlikely as they have to overturn a 9-goal deficit for survival if they do win. Blackburn and Luton are joint on points, but Blackburn have better goal difference as they head into the final game of the season. Let's see who goes up and who goes down. 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 0-0, 0-3, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 and 1-1. As Swansea City will join Fulham back in the Premier League. 94 points for Fulham, who lose 1-0 away to Sheffield United. Swansea City on 86 points is second. Sheffield United, West Brom, Middlesbrough, Birmingham City making them final 6 places in the top 6. 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. Cardiff City drop out on the final day after a 2-1 defeat to Derby County. Birmingham's 1-1 draw is enough to see them secure the playoffs. Nottingham Forest 68, Bournemouth 67. Hull above expectation all season alongside Coventry above expectation 10th and 11th. Preston and Derby also above expectations for this season, joint on 59 in 12th and 13th. Bristol City 57, Huddersfield 57, Blackburn 56, QPR 55, Peterborough 54, Reading 53, maybe below what they wanted this season. Millwall 49 and Luton 48 after a 1-0 victory at home to Reading in their derby match on the final day of the season. Blackburn on 46, commiserations to them, they'll go down alongside Barnsley 43 and Stoke City with a really dire, underwhelming season, finishing bottom on 41 points after their final day of the season draw 1-1 against Coventry. So there is your final championship table. Just to reiterate, Stoke City, Barnsley and Blackburn to go down. Fulham, Swansea to go up through the automatic promotion spots, with Fulham winning the league. The playoffs between Sheffield United and Birmingham over 2 legs, and West Brom and Middlesbrough over 2 legs, which in my opinion that would see Sheffield United and West Brom both go through to the final. Not just because they're 3rd and 4th, because they're the 2 strongest teams in my opinion, they go through. And the final of that, I don't want to predict it. It'd sound biased if I say Sheffield United, but realistically I'd say West Brom would probably go through from the playoff final. Given Sheffield United's look at Wembley and the form at Wembley over the years, I can't really see us winning at Wembley in the final of the playoff. I've been to a couple of playoff finals with Sheffield United, both been heartbreaking both times. Being in the FA Cup against Hull, heartbreaking again. You know, every time we go to Wembley we lose, and I can't imagine this will be any different. So I'd say West Brom would be the team to join Fulham and Swansea in the Premier League. Anyway, there you go. There is your top 6, your middle section, your bottom 3. There's your 24 teams in the Championship after 46 fixtures this season. Thank you guys. Enjoy your day.